Emily Steele adjusted her navy blazer, watching downtown Chicago glow 50 stories below her office window. Somewhere amid those twinkling river lights, her husband Michael was closing yet another late-night real estate deal. She checked her reflection, polished, poised, predictable. Then a soft knock. Daniel Cole, the indie architect hired to redesign the firm's lobby, lingered in the doorway with rolled-up blueprints and an almost shy smile. "Mind if I borrow 5 minutes?" he asked. Emily had no idea those 5 minutes would rearrange her next 5 months. Emily, 37, and Michael, 41, were Midwestern college sweethearts who'd scaled life like a well-planned skyscraper: wedding, condo, promotions, a golden doodle named Maple. Emily ran the marketing division of Verona Mutual. Michael flipped historic properties into boutique hotels. Their marriage looked enviable from brunch photos, yet words between them had thinned to calendar alerts and emoji thumbs UPS. For years Emily silenced faint static inside her, a flicker of restlessness she blamed on deadlines or daylight-saving fatigue. She reminded herself she was lucky: health, career, a partner who still kissed her forehead when racing for the train. But luck can feel suspiciously like autopilot. Enter Daniel, 33, Seattle-bred, curly-haired, remote-working architect who wore broken-in sneakers with designer chinos. Verona Mutual hired him to convert its marble mausoleum of a lobby into something millennial magnetic. Daniel spoke with sketches, not spreadsheets, and quoted Maya Angelou in kickoff meetings. Emily's first impression? Uncorporate, in the most disarming sense. Daniel camped out in Emily's glass-walled corner office because it had the best view of the lobby's traffic patterns. Their initial chats were strictly color palettes and wayfinding signage, but banter snuck in. Emily discovered Daniel moonlighted as a jazz guitarist, loved deep dish pizza ironically, and kept postcards from every city he'd lived in taped to his laptop. One windy Thursday, the building's HVAC wheezed out hot air. Emily slipped off her blazer, revealing a vintage Cubs tee beneath. Daniel laughed. "Marketing VP and secret baseball nerd? Didn't see that in your LinkedIn bio." She rolled her eyes, yet butterflies stretched awake. The friendship felt weightless, until Michael canceled date night 3 weeks in a row, citing closing documents nobody but me can fix. Emily texted no worries, with a sincere thumbs up, but her screen blurred afterward. She shut her laptop and wandered to the lobby. Daniel was crouched on the marble floor, chalking traffic arrows. She asked if he needed dinner. He grinned. "If by dinner you mean tacos from the truck outside, absolutely." Rain misted over Wabash Avenue while they huddled under the vendor's striped canopy, devouring al pastor on dripping tortillas. Between bites, Daniel asked why she majored in English yet pivoted to marketing. Emily confessed she once dreamed of writing novels about women who reinvent themselves after 30, but clients pay better than publishers. He nodded, wiping salsa off his sleeve. Stories find a way. Sometimes they crash a marketing meeting. When he walked her to the parking garage, they paused beside her car, city steam curling around their ankles. The hum of construction cranes filled the gap where a goodbye should go. Emily inhaled to speak, but Daniel just touched the brim of his hood and whispered, "Night, Em," before turning away. She sat in her sedan until Spotify ran out of recommendations. Early November dumped glassy sleet on Chicago. Office heating overcompensated, frosting windows with condensation. Michael texted from Denver, "Flight delay. Probably crash at hotel." Emily typed "travel safe," and realized the phrase felt motherly, not marital. That night Daniel knocked on her office wall holding 2 ceramic mugs. "Figured we could thaw out with real coffee." They stood by the fogged glass, sipping Guatemalan roast, tracing finger paths through the steam, city lights bleeding neon streaks. Daniel's finger brushed hers, neither moved away. Words tumbled, her fear of stagnation, his fear of rootlessness, both craving something unscheduled. A silence followed, thick, heavy, inevitable. Daniel set his mug down, breath shaky. Emily felt the room tilt as if some internal compass spun wild. She stepped back, heart drumming, whispered, "I should go." He nodded, but their eyes made a magnetic pact: "This isn't over." 2 Fridays later, Verona Mutual's servers crashed mid-afternoon. Staff scattered, Emily stayed to manage an emergency vendor call. At 7 p.m. she realized she was alone, except Daniel, who was photographing lobby light fixtures for his mood board. Post-crisis adrenaline left her shaky. Daniel suggested fresh air atop the unfinished rooftop deck he'd proposed. They climbed 40 iron stairs. Lake Michigan lay black and lunar beyond skyscraper silhouettes. Wind whipped Emily's hair as Daniel handed her his own scarf. He spoke first. When you spend every day designing walls, you start wondering what happens when they're gone. She heard herself answer, sometimes I feel like a lobby, everyone passes through, no one stays. The admission hovered, fragile. Then the kiss, soft, tentative, tasting of roasted coffee and November wind. No fireworks, just a rush of yes, I'm alive. When they parted, neither apologized. The city below kept blinking, unaware two careful people had rewritten their blueprints. The affair unfolded in fragments, afternoon Americano runs, passing of USB drives that held more longing than data, a Sunday meet-up at the Art Institute disguised as a gallery walk brainstorm. They never booked hotel rooms, secrecy lived in public spaces, hidden in plain sight. Emily's guilt crashed hardest at home, where Maple thumped her tail and Michael studied zoning ordinances at the dining table. She'd observe his concentration, remember why she'd fallen for his orderliness, and almost confess, until she pictured Daniel's grin when she said something nerdy about kerning. Thanksgiving approached. Michael suggested hosting his parents. Emily panicked, too fragile to perform perfection. She begged off, claiming a looming campaign launch. Michael sighed, half hurt, half accustomed. He kissed her forehead. Polite timestamp. The moment he left, she cried in the pantry beside canned cranberries. December 12th th, 6:42 p.m. Michael arrived at Emily's office with surprise peppermint mochas. Through the glass wall he saw Daniel lean across her desk, murmuring over fabric swatches. Their faces close, closer than colleagues. Something inside Michael splintered. He knocked. They jolted apart. Emily's cheeks flushed as she introduced them. Daniel extended a firm but trembling handshake. Michael's realtor smile never cracked, yet his eyes took inventory, matching mugs, Emily's cardigan draped over Daniel's chair, a post-it doodle of guitar strings. Later in the parking lot, Michael asked, "Is that architect a friend?" Emily's throat closed. "We work together." Michael nodded slowly. On the drive home he said little, but his grip whitened on the steering wheel. Snow glazed the city. Emily lay awake, counting radiator hisses. Michael whispered, "Are we okay?" The gentleness undid her defenses. Tears soaked the pillow as she confessed, late nights, rooftop kiss, emotional storm she hadn't sought but hadn't resisted. Michael's hurt pulsed like emergency sirens. Yet he didn't yell. He asked questions. Was it serious? Was she leaving? Emily sobbed, "I don't know what I'm doing." Silence thickened until Maple whined at the door. Michael finally said, "I want to fight for us, but only if you do." They agreed on couples therapy, a digital detox, and 2 weeks apart, Michael at a buddy's lake house, Emily in the condo with Maple and her thoughts. Emily Steele is a 39-year-old violin graduate working as a creative director at an international advertising agency in Istanbul. 11 years into her marriage, she has become increasingly lonely due to her husband Michael Steele's, 42, career as an architect and his workaholic attitude. She starts working with young jazz pianist Daniel Cole, 32, for new projects. Daniel Cole's compositions reawaken Emily's passion for music that she gave up years ago. Their late shifts together, secret rehearsals in the attic and the violin-piano duet they record together lead to a deep emotional attraction between the two. Emily and Daniel's relationship never quite crosses the physical boundary, but their intimate moments in the studio are reflected in a photograph. This photo falls into the hands of Michael, who has just returned from a huge project in Qatar. Emily confesses Michael's emotional intimacy with Daniel and the lack he feels in his marriage. Instead of reacting angrily, Michael recognizes the broken trust and they decide to rebuild the marriage. Michael chooses to hand over the job abroad and spend more time at home, while Emily returns to music to make space for herself. After handing over the project, Daniel goes on a European tour. Emily says goodbye with the note, "The last chord is yours." A year later, Emily and Michael sit side by side at a cultural center on the Bosphorus, listening to the piece Daniel composed. Emily's violin is still in the piece. Although the rift is not completely closed, through therapy, shared hobbies and open communication, the couple mends their relationship like golden kintsugi. Traces of the past remain visible, but their marriage is stronger and more conscious.